All righty then. We got to get to it because this way we can move past it. The main event of the evening for the WWE. Why do they call it the undisputed title when they also have a world championship on their pro? I would think the world champion is disputing the validity of the WWE title as being the number one title. They do it in every interview, don't they, Brian?
Right. It's not undisputed champion. It's undisputed WWE champion, right?
Well, but if the world champion says my title is the big title in the WWE, then he's disputing that the other guy's the champion of the WWE. See, there's loopholes here that need to be addressed.
Hey, listen, AEW has a world champion. They're about to have a unified champion who's not the world champion.
Who's not the world champion? Well, there's loopholes that need to be addressed. See, some people are disputing some undisputed things, and then some people are being disincluded from the unification. And they're instead of being unificated, they're being segregated. And goddamn, without even being masturbated. So,
well, once again,
something needs to be done.
We're in Saudi Arabia, the big main event.
Yes.
For Night of Champions, a match that they've been building up, and maybe have done a better job of building up than anything else recently with Cena. But of course, it's a main event in Saudi Arabia. John Cena versus CM Punk.
And the people were lit up to see it. And they did the chants. They were chanting for Punk before they played the music. And then, Mussolini, if he was Saudi, is Punk an honorary Saudi now? Ich ein Berliner? Is he an Ich ein Saudier?
I mean, it's gotten out now. That whole little pretentious setup scene where the fan Muhammad in his WWE hat called him out, and of all the people, Punk saw that, like Bruce Springsteen with Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Punk saw Muhammad. He's like, you, who are you? I didn't mean it. I woke up in a bad mood. I didn't mean Saudi Arabia, even though I specifically said a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia. But I apologize to you and to everyone you know and to everyone who is here now and then.
But no, hold on. He apologized to the people of Saudi Arabia. But that because people can be different than because look, we have an evil government here in the United States, but there are some good people still here trying to fight against it. So you can insult the United States now, and
when you say that, you're not insulting the people of Saudi Arabia. You were insulting the people who actually committed the murder, the people who supplied the blood to and the money. They're actually supplying the blood from the murders and the money from the oil fields that the people don't get the money from. So they are the blood money suppliers. So it's specifically the government.
Well, yeah. So he apologized to the people, did he not? Power to the people. Or did he apologize to, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Did he apologize to Muhammad and all the people of Saudi Arabia? Or
all of the people.
Well, all of the people. The cult of Cornette are the people, and none of them are the government.
He's apologizing to the government.
I apologize to Prince Mohammed Salamander over there.
Yeah, again, I think it's the modern day of wrestling, and the reality is WWE's business model is built around Saudi Arabia's money. Not built around it, but it's a thing that makes it profitable.
It's highly desirable.
TKO, a lot of their business strategy is built around Saudi money. So there's a lot that they don't want to fuck up anything with that relationship. And
so you're saying as soon as they got him over there and had his passport in their hands, they said, now here, you've got to go out and talk to a kid named Muhammad.
I think Punk knew for a long time that he was going to have to go over there and apologize. I think he just came out and did. I mean, Triple H afterwards said, oh, I'm so proud of him. He's grown so much as a person. And,
meanwhile, your mother-in-law is in the evil administration.
And again, it's one thing just, hey, I don't care. I want to work the show. I'll get a lot of money. But, it's when you actually go out and go to bat for a thought or a concept or something happening. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, they got all that money. So I'm sorry. I mean, that's what's getting people a little up in arms about the thing, but it'll pass.
Do you think, is there an element of, am I ribbing myself now because I'm the only one that won't involved in that? Or is it like, well, God damn it, it's $5 million.
You have to wonder if it was something that was an option. Really? Hey, you want to come back? You know, we don't know when the conversation happened. The conversation could have been Nick Khan talking to him when he first came back. You understand we're working Saudi Arabia. You'll have to eventually go there. You'll have to say you're sorry. Not just go there, you'll have to say you're sorry. Because the other thing is, they're not doing that just so he's not booed for one night. Just so they don't boo you that one time you're there, just please say you're sorry to everyone. No, they're doing that so they don't cut off Punk's head and throw it off the top of a building and then play soccer with it.
I don't think he would have been too upset if the people had decided to boo him and cheer Cena, because the match could have been just fine either way, but I think he wants to leave with his head still on his shoulders.
And again, a lot of fans, as people see it both ways, but again, Punk being so out in front on it is what makes it a Punk issue, but the bigger thing is if you have problems with Saudi Arabia, I'm not very happy about it. The sad reality is it's the future of wrestling with TKO. So much of their, beyond WWE, so much of their money comes from Saudi Arabia. So it's an issue bigger than Punk, but a lot of people make it just about Punk because, again, he makes himself part of the issue at times and it clouds things, but it produced an interesting dynamic. He got him over again. They went from booing him to all of a sudden, he just said, I'm sorry, and they were ready to cheer.
Yeah, okay, that's all we were waiting on. And then they got the headline, Punk apologizes to Muhammad. But you know what they've always said, Brian?
Of all the fans. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
If you can't bring Punk to Muhammad, bring Muhammad to Punk.
Rock the Casbah?
Rock the Casbah. So the match, the people were lit up. They were chanting. They were the ole, ole, ole. That's everywhere. What the fuck? And they started slow again. They didn't need to rush because they already had the people and they had some time to put in. But also they were wrestling, and it was one-on-one again, allegedly with no disqualification. More on that in a moment. Punk did a little Terry Funk in the ropes at the start, but hey, on this one, Cena was working harder. He obviously, and just this is factual, is not the athlete that he was 20 years ago, but he was making some contact. He was working harder. They're doing more.
Those punches, though. He was throwing punches at Punk.
Yeah.
And Punk was doing all he could. I actually thought Punk was really good here because Punk is really good at looking genuinely exhausted and like he's in a fight. And he was moving his head to those punches that sometimes it was an open hand, sometimes it didn't come near his head. Yeah, but that's Cena. I guess you just got to accept it.
But I mean, he was trying here. You can't say he was dogging it. He just, that's where we're at. It's why there's 14 dates left or whatever. But anyway, at one point, so I wrote, because I'm trying to figure out, I watched it a couple of times, then I kind of figured it out afterwards, because either Cena forgot to lift Punk, I said, or Punk is practicing to climb Mount Everest. And then about a minute later, they went back and Punk got the octopus on him, and then Cena hip tossed him off. So I'm thinking that Punk was trying to get the octopus on top of him, and Cena's like, what the fuck are you doing up there? Yeah. Because that's it. It was like Punk was climbing up on him, but Cena was just like bent over, like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway, and Cena had to do his stuff, you can't see him and all that stuff because people want to see that. But then Punk got to do his stuff and the elbow off the top, and Cena foiled to go to sleep and got an STF, and then Cena got an AA and Punk got an STF. So many initials. Where's the STP? But the thing is, this was, instead of just blandly saying this move and that move, it was a good back and forth match where everything made sense. It was a good world title match. It was probably the best John Cena match of this particular retirement run here, I would think.
I agree. I completely agree.
The people were going, this is awesome. They were getting big pops on the false finishes. When Cena hit the third attitude adjustment, got a 2 count. It was a big pop.
Yeah, we said beforehand, too, how this match should be in the States. It could be in Chicago. But you can't take anything away from the crowd reactions this was getting over there.
No, they were there.
Yeah, no, it may not have been as good anywhere, actually, as it was there.
In Chicago, if they were properly motivated, might have given them a fucking, if they thought Punk was going to win it, they'd have been off the beam. But nevertheless, and Cena went out and got the title belt and brought it in, and the referee and the fans are, no, no, no. And he kind of looks and he tosses it out. And he goes for the AA, but Punk hits the go to sleep and gets a 2 count. And then they get up and boom, boom, boom. And now Cena's doing his thing where he hits the shoulder tackles off the ropes, and Punk drops down and Cena hits the referee with, I think it's Rudy Charles, whatever name they're calling him these days, with the shoulder tackle, and the referee goes down, rolls out on the floor. And I was like, oh shit. Because the only thing they can do when a match is not no DQ is knock the referee out, which I'm not opposed to referee dumps. Yeah, they feel better if they take one every.
It's a stand I don't hear too many wrestling professionals take.
Well, I think they should take one every day and more fiber. But in addition to the referee dumps, I'm not opposed to referee bumps. I have done a bunch of them as a booker. But the problem is now referee bumps have evolved into the referee has been placed in a fucking medically induced coma by a open-handed slap and is going to be down for 10 minutes until, such time as he's needed again. And here we go. So Punk hits and by the way, I've loved this match up until this point. There's been a yeoman's job on everyone's part. And Cena is taking the referee out, and Punk hits the go to sleep and covers. There's no ref. And Punk gets up and looks like, where the fuck is this guy? And waves to the back, calling for another referee. Seth music. Oh, and here comes Seth Franklin Rollins and Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker all walking out. And down the entranceway, and the music is blaring, and the entrance video. Brian, you're old enough to remember when the referee would get knocked down, it'd be because somebody jumped out of the way, he got drop kicked or whatever, the boom, and he goes down, and he's momentarily stunned long enough for the heel or the heel's compadre and cohort to cheat in some meaningful way while he's not looking and he's dazed, and then he's back up to his feet, and it's none the wiser when he looks around. That was basically the idea of knocking the referee down.
Correct.
But now they got to be in a goddamn coma. Even if you're not in the ring and you're dazed, the goddamn music is playing over the loudspeaker. What's the referee supposed to think unless he's completely slap dab unconscious, in which case some doctor needs to be bringing over a goddamn oxygen tank. And we'll come back to the referee in a second. They make the long music entrance. Everything has come to a halt. Nobody's in a hurry. It stops to focus on this. And Seth has time to reach out and then make his motion, his fist with his hand. So then his stooges run in and sick Punk, but Punk fights them off. Boom, boom, boom. And one guy goes this way, another guy goes that way, and then they end up on the floor. And he dives on them and overshot them. And I know they're shaped like bowling balls. But goddamn, I didn't think he had that much spring in his legs left, but he overshot him and almost landed on his head over the top of him. Then they picked him up and slammed him through the Arabic announce table. And there went Fubar, Makafaka Lube, and Slapko Fudd scurrying for their lives. And then Seth is standing in the ring with the briefcase. And is he going to cash in? And as he calls for another referee. Well, here comes little Nate, old Charles Robinson, running down the entranceway. One would have thought, again, the reason for urgency in cheating when the referee is down is because if you don't do something quick, certainly someone in the back is going to be alerted to send another referee down. So your clock is ticking when the first one goes down. Is it going to take 30 seconds? Is it going to take 40 seconds? Well, no, we've been a while. Here comes the next referee, and Cena stands up in the entranceway, bam, and wipes him out. So he's down. So then Cena and Seth start arguing with each other. Seth swings the briefcase at Cena. Cena ducks it and gives him the AA. But then Braun and Bronson, Breaker and Reed, let's call them Breaker and Reed. Breaker and Reed get in and start getting some heat on Cena. But then music plays. Am I exaggerating this, Brian?
Oh, no. And then the music.
Okay.
If you're talking about Sammy, the music played for like 5 seconds. It was the most unnecessary playing of the music.
No. You've skipped somebody.
Oh.
The first music was Penta.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Remember Penta?
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Cinderella story. Penta comes out and he gets in a fight with Braun Breaker on the rampway, the entranceway. And they're fighting. And then the music plays again, and there comes Sammy within 5 seconds. And he gets on Braun, and they fight off to the side of the entrance where the Penta, who's been leveled before, can get back up and run across the stage and dive off the stage onto the floor, onto both of them. But now what do you say is going on in the ring? Well, Bronson Reed goes to the top and he's going to splash Cena. But Punk pushes Bronson Reed off and Cena picks Reed up and gives him an AA. And then Cena and Punk are in the ring and everybody else is rolled out and left. And Paul is still standing around there. I think he was blown up from the trip down and he didn't want to leave and go back in case he had to sit down and rest halfway. But everybody else that ran out there as magically has all disappeared. And now Punk and Cena are in the ring. And Punk offers his hand for a handshake, and Cena takes it and pulls him in for the hug, and the people are like, yay! And then Cena makes the face, like the face he made with Cody.
Right into the camera.
Right into the camera. He goes for the gut kick, and Punk catches it and starts to pick him up for the AA. And there's Seth with the briefcase. Suddenly, where the fuck he came from, boom, hits him with the briefcase in the head, gives him the stomp, rolls out of the ring. Cena covers, and the referee, the first referee, Rudy Charles, who was bumped with a shoulder tackle 7 minutes ago, rolls right in and counts 1, 2, 3. So I thought it was a real good match until it became sports entertainment instead of wrestling. And then everybody came out and you just lost the fucking plot. And then they went back to it and there it was. And that's the best that I'm sorry, but whenever I used to figure a finish, regardless of what company it was from or where it was, if you can't account for everybody's whereabouts and participation in a realistic manner in front of the live audience in a particular period of time, then either make an adjustment where you can or don't do it. It was 7 minutes for a shoulder tackle and all this shit. But that's what they expect these days because they're training people. This is what wrestling is supposed to look like. So it was very exciting, but it hurts me that, is this the way the musicians feel about that auto-tune thing where Aunt Fanny can sing like goddamn Bette Midler if she wants to?
No, I don't think this is.
Or that you just don't have to be good at it anymore?
You know, again, it's become very standard, but I have a feeling people are going to get burned out if they aren't already, and some of us are. by these non-finishes that include big moments. Triple H is good at giving you big moments, but you see more and more holes in everything he actually puts together the more you watch it. And I thought that was the most disappointing thing.
And unfortunately, for all the good that we say about Paul E., he is a big moment with holes guy a lot of times.
That's his specialty.
So you got a lot of big moments, you got a lot of holes.
But again, I just didn't think, nothing against Penta because I don't mind him, but when he showed up, it was like him? He's the one to come out here to make the save for Punk, I guess? Sammy, it makes sense. They've been aligned a little bit, and they both hate this group of Heymans.
Well, yeah, but just on a level of the way that people are viewed, Penta was the odd duck. Right. It was like, what? I know they're pushing him, but it's the main event, world title match on Cena's retirement tour. Maybe let's just leave that one alone.
And again, it was almost 10 minutes of interference and non-finishes. Not even non-finish. Interferences.
It was a different fucking match for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Here now, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a snack. We'll come back in 5 minutes when the match we were watching starts back up. What? I don't know. But yeah. But at the same time, goddamn, they made a bunch of $1 million on it, and everybody is professional. I assume, except I didn't watch Jade and who's he? What's he? Asuka. Yeah. But they're, I'm sure they did fine. Nobody was almost killed. We got that going for us. But it was better than your average standard 5-match kind of blah pay-per-view because of the 2 big matches. And coincidentally, they were 2 actual singles matches that meant something between stars, but the one finish was so gimmicked up, it was a little disappointing because they were doing so well. And again, I know, even if it's Cena and Punk, I don't know whether either one of them would have just come to with the idea, even Cena for Smoke and Mirrors, come with the idea of let's just run 17 people in it to finish this thing and take 5 or 6 minutes and then get back on track. I think that was probably an Office influence.
Heyman, especially, like you said. But that was
Hey, man!
WWE's latest excursion to Saudi Arabia, and good to hear that the plane was allowed to leave the runway this time. But of course, Jim, WWE, all those wrestlers, all those scared staff members.
Yep.
So happy to be back on American ground. So happy.
Probably thinking about their future.
Thinking about their future. I was going to talk about thinking about the nap, but you're right. The future.
Oh, you told me about the future earlier.
I just started thinking about how I felt after the pay-per-view. And curveball, wild card, Jim. If at all possible, I'd love to talk about the big nap that everyone had to take, the big sleep after getting home.
The big sleep.
After they kissed the ground, happy they're back in the States. Everyone needed a good night's sleep, and we know where everyone can get one.
Well, you know what? Most of the time when you're feared for your safety and your life and you get away from that and you get back home, you just want to lay down on a comfortable mattress. You don't want to sleep with the fishes. You want to sleep with Helix. That's what you want to do because, folks, our friends at Helix, they got a big deal going on right now. And Helix, of course, is pronounced Helix and spelled Helix. Just think about Felix, but with an H. Get the F out. And right now, the 4th of July sale means you are going to save more money than you're ever going to save on these fine mattresses. This is the biggest discount they've ever given. And Brian, you know the drill. We've been talking about Helix for years now. You sleep on them. I sleep on them. Some people sleep with them. That's how they have more Helixes. And then the line keeps going. But nevertheless, the people love them. You go to helixsleep.com. You get on the website and you answer a few simple questions about what type of mattress you're looking for. Let's say, for example, You sleep and you sweat when you sleep. Well, if it's some kind of personal issue you're dwelling on, we can't really help you. But if you're just hot natured, they got a mattress that'll cool you down. Or if you like to sleep on a firm surface or a soft surface, or let's say that you've got a severe case of scoliosis and you're shaped like a question mark. They have curved mattresses available.
Well,
have you seen these, Brian?
I don't know anything about that.
Curved
Let's not promise
mattresses
things that don't exist.
Well, it looks like an S, and that way, when you're all hunched over, you still got a place to fucking sleep.
I don't think that's how it works. And of course, visit your chiropractor or whoever works on your back, ladies and gentlemen. But for those of you looking for a good night's sleep, you and of course your family, you got to take care of your family.
You got to bring the whole family on the same mattress. Just bring them on. There's room for everybody. Have them bounce up and down on it a couple of times. Don't bring any jelly sandwiches.
Well, they will fall in love with it, and maybe they'll want their own. And of course, we have such a great deal to offer the listeners this time of year. Right now, to get a brand new mattress.
That's right. 27% off site-wide for the 4th of July sale. And I'm telling you, again, the 4th of July is coming up. And your old mattresses need to be thrown out. Make it every 4th of July you get a new mattress. That way you just throw out the bag of dust and dust mites and potential bed bugs and crumbs and granny's farts and all kinds of dog flatulence and various effluvia that has come from your pets. You get that out of your house. You get a brand new mattress. You get 27% off site-wide at helixsleep.com. for the 4th of July sale when you use the code JCE. That's helixsleep.com/JCE, 27% off. And again, do you snore? Or more importantly, does some no good, sorry, gum bumping sack of snake feces in your house snore and keep you awake at night? Well, get one of the mattresses that improves snoring. Or back pain. Let's say you got back pain, you get one of the mattresses that helps with back pain. Or let's say you want to cause some back pain. If there's somebody you don't like, get them the opposite kind of mattress that they would like. And if they sleep on it, they will get back pain. You'll be the cause.
No, let's not say that any of these mattresses will cause.
Give your mother-in-law with a slip disc a really soft mattress to sleep on, and she will be miserable.
Give her an Advil, and of course, focus on your own sleep.
Well, give her the Advil for the first. Give her the Advil for the first couple of nights. She's got the soft mattress. She won't notice it, and then it'll already be broken in by the time she realizes that she's bent up in the night like a roly-poly bug. Well, there you go. Well, Brian, you can get them for all the neighbors, too, that you don't like. Just see who has back pain and go from there. You can really screw people up.
Well, let's focus on doing good things for yourself and your family and your friends and the people that you're going to actually be spending money on, ladies and gentlemen, with a great mattress. Yes. We endorse it. We have them here at Last Manor. They have them at Castle Cornette. Have them wherever the hell you're sleeping. Helix Sleep. Jim, tell them.
Yeah. Get several of them, especially if some members of your family are still sleeping around. Go to helixsleep.com/JCE, 27% off site-wide for the 4th of July sale. Do it quickly. Void where prohibited by grumpy people keeping you awake.
We love them. Helix Sleep.